One of the things that's really important for every single leadership that I would like to talk a lot about is that how you can deliver your passion to your team, how you can deliver to your vision to your team. It's not about like delivering the task. It's about delivering the energy that you have and
Mhm.
how you want to deliver it to that to your team. So I'll always try to do that. And it's the most difficult things that every single leader should
Yeah.
do out there, delivering their passion, delivering the vision that they have to their team. And if you have right energy, right time, right moment to deliver that energy, it's gonna make something really unique out there in the market.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Lead for Performance. I am thrilled to welcome Hadi Heidari to the studio today, multi-time founder, and someone I'm sure we're all going to enjoy hearing about on the front of performance and leadership today. Welcome to the studio, Hadi.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm very like excited to be on your podcast. So
Okay.
based on your background, based on what I've seen so far, so I'm very excited. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Awesome. So I like to just jump right in. I was learning all about TunePact, and I understand you're really at the intersection of AI, SaaS, and music industry, which is interesting trifecta to say the least. With one commonality of all being very fast moving spaces. So how does that, influence? And then plus I would add the fourth dimension of being a founder, which I know personally adds, adds its own challenges. So how does this pace and the demands influence how you think about leadership and performance?
So let's start about like what we are building on
Yes, please.
TunePact. So TunePact is the AI powered label service for
Hmm.
indie musician. So it's getting built by my team and myself for serving every single musician out there, regardless of their location, their genre, where they live, what they do. We're gonna offer some sort of fairness for the musicians out there. So that's what we are building. When it comes to the leadership, I don't know if I can call myself leader or something, but I tried my best to lead the team, lead the project perfectly fine. As far as getting feedback from the musicians and making sure every single musician get heard, that's why we have the TunePact podcast. We are getting the signal from the musician and build off of those signals or platform. So I believe the leadership is like getting those signals and noise and see which one of them are signals and like
Oh,
convert it to the product. And right now in the AI era, I think that's very important to see to differentiate the signal and noise. You see lots of going on and which one of them are really something you need to know and which one of them you need to ignore. If it's the AI is really compromising every single thing, every single industry, which one of
mhm,
them you need to take and use it in your product, I mean, which one of them you need to like
mm.
leave it there not to use it. That's something I think right now it's perfectly necessary and necessary for every single leadership out there to see what they hear and what they should do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I love that as starting kicking that off as leadership. Honestly, that's one of the themes that has been emerging in these conversations, the importance of sorting between signal and noise. But more has come off as we dig deeper. But I love how you're bringing that out as a whole point of your role as a leader, actually. So I want to dig in deeper on how we do that because it's so powerful. But I also want to just say right away, I think you got us started by talking about the purpose. So you have such a deep purpose, obviously, of what you're trying to do. I bet that's a key tool in helping to differentiate between the signal and the noise. And then what else would you add to that?
So the other thing is that your what motivates you to start this
Hmm.
program or this startup. So if it's something from the feeling that you have, it's a passion from inside, from your heart, it's
Hmm.
gonna moving you forward and moving your team. One of the things that's really important for every single leadership that I would like to talk a lot about is that how you can deliver your passion to your team, how you can deliver to your vision to your team. It's not about like delivering the task. It's about delivering the energy that you have and
Hmm.
how you want to deliver it to that to your team. So I'll always try to do that. And it's the most difficult things that every single leader should
Yeah.
do out there, delivering their passion, delivering the vision that they have to their team. So that's the thing that I would like to mention as well.
Okay. I love that too. And I think so many of us would be better served in thinking about the energy you mentioned in there, right? So how are you delivering your energy? And ultimately, I love the buying you're sharing that there, you're treating it as a basically, fundamental fundamental assumption, sorry, that you're leading a team. But that's just the reality, isn't it, in
Yeah.
these days? Like, and I bet you think it's even if you don't have an official team, there's always an element of engagement, communication, and teamwork at every level, at every
Yeah.
organization.
Totally correct. I'll say like having a team that they understand what they need to do and how work with you on that
Mhm,
process, how like building something that never exists there. Because when you build something, you're probably gonna take a look on some other thing out there. But the
mhm,
reality is that when you are building multi-million dollar platform or billion-dollar platform, a unicorn platform, you need to know that it never existed out there. So you are building something unique, and
mhm.
what makes the unique? The team, the idea, and the product. So these three together, and also on top of it, the vision and mission you're already gonna have. So that's make you different from other startup out there. So it all coming from the energy that the leaders pushing through through the project, pushing through to the team. And if you have right energy, right time, right moment to deliver that energy, it's gonna make something really unique out there in the market.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to think. It actually brings in the element. I like it's so much of it is in our mindset, right? And approach. It's not even you haven't even touched on what you're doing and how you're doing it. It's all about actually how we're thinking about the
Yeah.
purpose and drive and bringing others along on the road with us.
Yeah,
I mean, I love
totally
that
get.
even. Sorry, go ahead, please.
So now I just want to say I'm totally agree. I totally agree what you are saying.
Mhm. Yeah. And I love that coming from you even more so because I see your background in cybersecurity as an engineering. So a very technical
Yeah.
background. I myself started in engineering as well. So I know firsthand, how untraditional that view is, in this space. So I love that you're bringing that up. And I guess I would ask you a little bit, did you always have that? Or is this something you've learned? Because I know you've had a really successful exit. When did this come to you as a part of your journey?
So you mean that how I came as a founder of like a music industry?
Oh no, no, sorry. To even have this understanding of this like energy management and the purpose and the power of our
Okay, yeah,
mindset and the role it plays in leadership, ultimately in the success of what we're doing at work, right? It's not something I
yeah.
know it's not taught in engineering class, so I wonder how you got it.
That's the yeah, that's a pretty great question. I never had a thought about how did I learn it or did
Mhm,
I get it from someone else. So honestly, I've been involved in some accelerator program, and that program was really very beneficial for me to build that leadership persona or something.
mhm,
I believe that I need to work on myself a lot. I'm not there. I'm not something like I can call myself perfect like a leader. So
mhm,
it takes time. It's like a knowledge that you need to get and convert it to something and adapt yourself with that one. You need to know you need to deliver the energy, but how you want to deliver energy based on your characteristic, your persona, and who are the team. When you are working with a team that's cybersecurity, different than working a team in the music industry. That's totally
mhm,
different. You are coming from the rational industry, moving to the emotional industry.
mhm,
And that's totally different. Over
mhm,
there, maybe everything is logical. Even here in the music industry, everything is emotional. We're talking to musicians that bring their emotions, building something like a music.
mhm,
And it's gonna the same thing when you are building a product for the musician, you need to have deliver that emotional energy as well. So it's
mhm,
very, very different. These are very different industries. So leadership on that side is completely different here. So I would say, and my first company taught me that all was all about cybersecurity is that working with the right team, working on the right product, and I try to deliver it and bring it on TunePact and revise it a little bit to make sure it's really music friendly as well.
mhm.
So That's what I would
Yeah.
say.
Is it that the leadership and actually that's really great. I would love to pick at that a little bit because you're right, it's total dichotomy, right? From the cyberological part, musician, creative, emotional. So I love that to share this difference, but is it that the fundamentals are the same except applied in different contexts? They look very different, or is it truly that it's like, different approaches that we're talking about?
Different approaches, I would say.
Hmm.
Working with different customers and
Hmm.
every sort of customer. So on that side, they need some logic needs, but here
Hmm.
they need some emotional things.
Hmm.
So when they are not selling the product on cybersecurity, you are selling the product, but here you are trying to bring the emotional things in the creativity space. So I would say leadership in this space is completely different. I try to adapt myself. How I adapt myself, that's a question that I asked myself when I came to this
Yeah.
industry. I've been in the industry for a while, DJing and vlogging for a while, and uh, when I came to building something, I found that, okay, I need to teach myself. I need to bring someone in to tell me, Hadi, this is an industry that you're gonna live forever, maybe in the rest of
Mhm,
your life. So what you gonna do? So bringing someone as your co-founder who lived in this like a music industry for what 20 years, 30 years. I co-found like I brought my co-founder Cindy that really
mhm,
believed like our platform that what we are building has been with me like 3 years. So we're working together on some ideas right now, idea polish. I would say learning that sort of thing, how this platform works, how this industry works is important. So like
mhm,
bringing someone to bring that knowledge, also helping you to have that sort of good leadership that I
mhm.
think that's necessary when you don't have that sort of vision.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Hadi. Let me switch gears a little bit. I know that you mentioned on our call that burnout is something that you have dealt with personally as a founder, and so I just was wondering, and that to me is like I don't like to even directly talk about burnout as much as I love the idea of sustainable performance, which of course the flip side is unsustainable performance, and I myself have had a direct relationship with that as well. So I just want to ask you about, what have you learned from this experience and how does it impact how you work today and how you lead at
So that's a really good question. I think every single like a founder has been thinking of this sort of burnout or have experienced that sort of burnout, and I've been there. I cannot ignore that I've been there. So the thing is that definitely gonna go to a you are building something that's full of uncertainty, and you
Mhm.
have no idea if it's gonna work or not.
Yep.
And that makes not only yourself, even your team gonna say, Hadi, do you think it's gonna work? And maybe you're gonna ask yourself 1 million times, like up to the point this platform gonna work. So, and financially, maybe you're gonna have some issues. So, like every single like a founder gonna have that issue. And on the other side, you need to work with lots of people, investors, like working with customers, working
Mhm.
with every single member in your team.
Mhm.
How you gonna like go ahead and like manage yourself? And burnout is something like you need to manage every single day, I would say.
Mhm.
For me, what it works is like going like and having some exercise every day. Like after 5 hours working, I need 1 hour, 1 hour and a half going to the gym and
Mhm.
working out. And even when I'm working on, my brain works perfectly better than the
Mhm.
regular time because of the
Mhm.
dopamine, whatever it's released in my brain.
Mhm.
And even I would say most of the ideas that's right now you see on TunePact in Bill, I found out those ideas during the exercise on the
Mhm.
dumbbell. All the
Yep.
thing happened like at that time. So so first of all, like doing exercise. On the other thing is like being with family, like a work, like playing with my kids helped me a
Mhm.
lot. Like so be out of like my office for an hour or 2 hours. So that helped me a lot too. So these are something that I would say helped me, like not to
Mhm.
go too deep in that burnout, but I've experienced somehow. The other thing is that they differentiate noise and signal. Try not to get lots of noise because like if you wanna like your brain getting processed and maybe it has some restriction. My brain has some restriction. I would like to focus on something that really matters for TunePact. If I
Hmm.
can differentiate between two, like a noise and signal, it's gonna
Yeah.
help to
Hmm.
see, okay, leave these off and I don't want to work on those things. One of the things that sometimes I try to think of like which event's gonna be good for me and try
Hmm.
to avoid to going to every single event out there because I would
Right.
like to avoid some noise. Do you think this event gonna help me or bring some noise more? So I'm really picky on which events I gonna go working with, like talking to this person or not. So having a good advisor even gonna help there. And the lastly is like talking to my team, the co-founder, and gonna
Hmm.
help a lot. Say, hey Cindy, I think I experienced this issue. Do you think that's a valid issue or not? Even it's
Hmm.
gonna help me as well to go into that deep to that burnout things as well.
That's great. I mean, those are actually really great. If you don't mind, I would love to just try to generalize them a little bit with you because I think there's so many lessons learned in there that are super valuable. So actually, I really love bringing it back to noise and signal because that is a lot about that. There's a lot of in that when you are, and I like that you're bringing it up as a, especially in a seat of a founder with so much uncertainty, which of course our human brain does not love. It does come back to how do you cut through that noise, right? How do you cut through the noise so that you're always being productive? It can trick our brain thinking I'm being productive only if I work more, 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 more. But that road is endless, especially with the uncertainty of in this early stage. Now, to me, it seems like you've always rewired your brain to talk about the fact that exercising is productive. Time with your kids and family is productive, and that's actually that brain switch that helps us get out of the office, do something different. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. And so how I differentiate between noise and signal, that maybe it was part of the question as well, is that I try to understand what's my vision and mission are.
Yes.
And the second thing is that what my customer said. And I try to mix these together and see what's coming through my to like what I'm getting from the industry from outside. I see 10 competitors in an event that was doing like something that we were doing in
Hmm.
only in an event. So
Hmm.
imagine when I was coming out of that event, how I was feeling. So I thought, okay, Hadi, do you think that's a good platform that you are building because 10 other people out there are building the same thing that you are building. So doing a little bit analytic, like getting some insight about what those platforms do. So
Yeah.
it's gonna give you some signal of how they maybe you need to like a little bit iteration or something like that. But
Hmm.
again, it goes back to the vision and mission. If you have the
Yeah.
right vision and mission, and every single day, I talk to like a musician on Instagram and tip, hey, musician, do you know that we talked about like this feature and you loved it? Would you think this gonna work like if you change it this way, it's gonna bring some AI thing inside? And if I say yes for most of them, so it's a signal. Go through that. And
Hmm.
if I get him some like information about the industry, AI gonna change everything. So that's the noise for me because AI is gonna go change something, but like in the next year, maybe in the next 10 years. So that's the
Hmm.
noise for me. So what's gonna change? That's the question. And these are something that how I differentiate between noise and signal.
Well, there's that analytical mindset there, even in the music industry, I would
Yeah.
I would point out, yeah. Um, and it sounds like to me that vision and mission, then again, it's connecting. And I mean, first of all, I totally agree. It's like a powerful tool that many of us know about because it's like hardly, if you to use your example too, hardly if you go and survey 1,000 people, most of them are gonna know about a vision. But how many do have one? Is the difference. I think we easily dismiss some of these things and just say ultimately, oh, whatever. Well, I'll do that later or something like that. But you're using your vision as a key tool to cut through the noise in your life. So it's not something to be punted and dismissed as later. And the other part I would ask you just about is it sounds like your vision includes not just work goals. It includes your family, your health, time for yourself, and that again makes it a really powerful tool to help you succeed without the burnout. Is that a fair conclusion?
Yeah, it's a very fair conclusion, I believe. So thanks so much for bringing that up. And let me give you my vision in one sentence that
I love it.
deliver like that gonna go to the like it's helped me to like write my vision too. So my vision is that if you see a musician out there somewhere in a very like a small town in a
Yep.
Nigeria in Africa, that already I have a musician there.
Mm-hmm.
She told me that I will never have a chance to get heard out there
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have chance to get to these like label companies, the big label companies, because I don't have that channel to get heard.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can make that musician like get heard that musician, this musician gonna get heard with millions of people in the US, in Europe, somewhere else in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's my mission. If I can get successful there, if I bring some musician from somewhere unknown and get heard with like thousands of people out there, that's the mission that like moving me forward through this like a TunePact. So
Mm-hmm.
and it's very energetic for me because when I see someone get successful off of my platform, off of what we are building, that's
Mm-hmm.
they had no chance. That person
Mm-hmm.
was hopeless because whatever going on, what's going on in this music industry, that sometimes it's been a little bit that hasn't been fair with some of these musicians. If I
Of
can
course.
solve problem, that's the thing. That's the really matter for me. That
Nice.
drives me through all the things, all these like struggles, all
Yeah.
these challenges been there so far in the last couple of years.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. And I love it. It's such a good, and I love that you share a practical example. And I would just build on it to say, like, I think why it's so powerful for you and so helpful to you is it's emotional, it's detailed, it's specific, right? And that's why it has all these the power to pull you out and show you you can always come back to it to see what is that signal, right? What is going to be the one step closer to you
Exactly.
opening the doors for that musician, right? And that gives you that kind of clarity, gives you real power to then prioritize and say no to the things that are not moving the needle forward. And it sounds disconnected because it can be the no is like extra networking event, and you're like, how can possibly this vision of your story of your musician in Nigeria help you decide about a networking event in California? But that is how it does it does work, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, very powerful to share that. Have you on the flip side, have you seen misconceptions of what is the answer forward? And again, I know you have such a varied experience across many different industries. Like, what's some of the misconceptions that you run across in this area that you are just like, please stop, you're not helping yourself?
Yeah, I think the first thing is that if you work more and more, you want to get more
Mm,
results. So
yeah.
I would say the first thing that I can tell you. So I would say for founder, it's pretty important to work hard, but the
Hmm.
most important thing, how they want to deliver the energy to the rest of the team, and they have enough like energy and motivation toward like the program and every single day. And the other thing is that getting insight from your team.
Hmm.
So another misconception that most like a startup like have is that bringing very experienced people in
Mm,
that in the industry. But I can tell you one example. So I have a team that curates some playlists, and I usually personally I'll listen to music like for 18, 19, something like that. Okay,
hmm.
and still, if you go to my Spotify, take a look on Spotify, you can see what I'm talking about, like music, like a trance music, like a pop music from there. But if I bring someone like myself, like someone my age and someone from the same like ideal, the same idea that I'm talking about, that's not
Hmm.
gonna help. Maybe that's experience in some areas, in
Yeah.
some other or not. Like using like a fresh mind, bringing someone in your team, like bringing some ideas from younger generation, that's
Hmm.
something been helpful for me. I try not to get into that like a rabbit hole, bringing very experienced person.
Yeah.
Bringing a very experienced person, first of all, is a bit challenging to
Yeah.
negotiate that person. Hey, I would like to have in my team. Okay, you know what? I'm very busy, but bringing some younger generation that they would like to like contribute like and collaborate on something that you are building for their generation, something I know that like most of our upcoming customer are like between 18 and 30, right? And they would like to make some music for other like for the audiences out there. I need to
Mhm.
bring someone like it at the same age, like younger generation. It helped me a
Mhm.
lot. They
Yeah.
created some playlists. When I listen to those, maybe it's not something I prefer to listen, but I
Yeah.
see millions of people are listening to those music.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Again, that's some sort of signal for me. That's good. That's very good. But I think still you need to bring some like a fresh mind too that help you understand what's going on that industry. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are the things that I can
Yeah.
mention.
Totally. It's a balance. It's like tricky
Yeah,
balance and full of trade-offs, right?
yeah, exactly.
You need to put them together, but then also that's the hardest thing to do. But then also
Yeah.
it will unlock the most value, and that's the
Yeah,
trick.
yeah, that you are absolutely right. We need like experienced people on the side
Mhm.
that giving you some like advice. On the other
Mhm.
side, you need to bring some insight from younger generation and
Mhm.
helping them to build themselves and also helping they're gonna help you to build something that gonna be utilized by those people. So
Yeah.
I would say.
When you so it's a balance, and I like that. It's a priority. It's really like understanding again, clarity of direction, and then and I love your using that to cut through the noise. I call it a lot of times like really prioritizing for outcomes. It's like that's my way of saying it. But you're always just reality of is we're gonna be pulled all day in different directions, right? Like even when you so even when you're bringing it down, even let's say to the team members, let's say you're pulling from very experienced advisors, you're pulling up from interesting younger generation that could be closer to your target customers. You're getting lots of inputs at all times, right? Um, and then having to decide what to do about them, how to engage them, how to integrate them. When you and I love your the train of thought that you're talking about. Okay, I'm what's useful to me or what's not. But there's also a level, even when you say what's useful to me, you still have to kind of prioritize in there. Where does my energy go? Today, this week, today, sometimes this moment, right? Is there any tools that you use or any approaches you use to say, yes, this is signal, but I still need to tackle one thing at a time, ultimately as a human, right? Is there anything that you can share about that process for yourself and your team?
So can I can I articulate to some data I'm
Of
getting and
course.
I'll analyze the okay. So first of all, I think I need to know that who are my customers are. So
Mhm.
know their persona and
Yeah.
listening to those customers is something that gonna give you some lots of signal, lots of data. So you can have those data maybe in the different silos, different like a Google sheet and like etc. On the other side, like how we want to get those data. That's one of
Mhm.
the reasons that we started TunePact podcast.
Mhm.
TunePact podcast, especially like only talk about music marketing
Mhm.
and it would like to know that how other musicians, how like emerging musicians are like dealing with their music marketing, how
Yeah.
they offer their music out there to other how are their success stories when it comes to the music marketing, music
Mhm.
business. So
Yeah.
that's another channel can bring the data to us. On the other side, using the AI things as some giving me data, but still I'm not 100 rely on those. I can give you one example why
Mhm.
I'm not using like AI data right now as the definite signal, as the
Mhm.
signal that I can make decision on it. A year ago, we were thinking about a core feature and every single data coming from AI that was showing me definitely 90%, 80% of musician gonna use that like a feature
Mhm.
for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
not mention that feature because it's still something that maybe later on we're gonna focus on it based on like a pipeline that we are building. And we were about to build that feature, so
Mhm.
almost ready. And even I pitched that through that to some advisors in the accelerator program. What helped me to understand if it's a really signal or noise that coming through and talking to some musician and also like work with some music experts and eventually it came say okay that's a good feature, it's not a perfect feature they want to build. You
Mhm.
cannot drive traffic to your platform because of this feature. Forget about it for now, just put it away in your
Mhm.
shelf and maybe later on maybe you're gonna take a look on it. So AI made hallucination. I would say it made
Hallucination.
something up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it could get some signal from the some like Reddit, Quora, and etc. from these
Yep.
like platform because people were talking about it, but people were not talking about okay how it's gonna get done if it's really something that I pay for it or not.
Mm,
So that taught me that Hadi is good for summarization. I use the AI for summarization, getting all those data bring
yeah.
together and say, okay, go ahead and give me the last thought based on this data. Don't go ahead and make up something for me that you
Mhm.
usually do
No,
that for me. So,
yeah.
so that's the thing, how drives me like to find those, like how to pull data and actually like after that convert it to the product.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great example. Thank you for sharing that. I like that you're intentionally not getting sucked down the AI, assuming AI is a signal because everybody's talking about it. That's what's happening right now. That's a really good example. And then basically, I really love that you started, how do you prioritize? You started with the focus on customer, right? Because ultimately, as a founder, you're building value for the customer. And then to know what to build for the customer, you're backing in, I need data. And you're like, how am I going to get that data? So it's really that ultimate, outcomes value chain you're delivering, you're using it as, prioritization, like rule set for yourself. And that's really great practice. That's leadership fundamentals in any industry, I would say.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I was going to ask you about how you use data, if you do use data, because of course I understand. I know, as in, from your technical experience, I'm sure that data, the power of data. I was wondering if you have any particular use for it in this conversation as you go also into the music industry as well. But you kind of touched on it already. Yes.
Yeah. And also like using some tools gonna be really beneficial. So I using some like tools. I really love tools. Like to if they gonna like organize something
Hmm.
because like try to write still I'm old fashioned writing something on the notebooks and after that deliver it to like because
Yeah.
you know what when I'm talking to you maybe you wanna say something maybe I gonna like forget it I write here and
Hmm.
then I gonna like put it in the tools that we are using for managing uh like the product. I would say
Hmm.
product discovery thing. I use a product discovery tool that helped me a lot to see like
Hmm.
what would the impact and if we want to like impact for the musician and impact for us, if it's gonna deliver like a run some revenue for the musician, it's gonna run some revenue for the us. That's the first thing that we would like to see. It's
Hmm.
gonna solve the problem that actually is in our vision and mission. And the third one is that how much effort we need to put on to build that product.
Yeah.
If
I,
we have like a yes for every single of these questions, so it's a perfect time to start. So that's I try to make everything simplified by using this tool. So how I prioritize the tasks, and so yeah, all of the data coming through all on this pipeline, and like the outcome gonna be: do we need to build it right now, or do we need to deliver it to someone else, or do we need to put it somewhere else, like have it in your back pocket and maybe later on we're gonna take a
mhm.
look or just like leave it somewhere we don't need it archive it.
Yeah. That's a really practical look at how to use the fun tools, but again, to the advantage to get clarity and that you can then
Exactly.
align your teams on, and it makes sense. And then everybody can just one by one be getting the right thing done, learning, course correcting, etc. That's a really practical way to look at it. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that.
And if I'm not mistaken, for audiences are looking for simplifying the task and prioritizing, if I'm not mistaken, it's the
Yep.
Eisenhower table. If they like it, just like Google it, maybe they can find Eisenhower tables, how it
Yes.
works. It's very simple concept, but behind it, it's gonna simplify everything they gonna build. Or if it's even if it's good for the regular life. Okay, I have 10 tasks to do. Which one of them I need to do first?
Yeah.
This table gonna help them a lot.
So I totally agree with you. There's so many prioritization, principles and strategies, tactics, right? And Eisenhower is absolutely one of the most powerful ones. Just I would add an element of it to you, or suggest to add it. Let's see. It's like if you take the Eisenhower matrix, but actually instead of it's not just because of course the importance is so important, but marrying it up with your vision and mission is actually what I think gives it context. So you're not just prioritizing for the sake of prioritization, you're prioritizing, on impact to what you're trying to do.
I
Does
love
that
it. Yeah.
resonate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. So that's totally right. Yeah, I love it. So yeah, thanks so
Okay.
much for bringing that
We
up.
should end on that mic drop. I don't think we're going to do better by improving the
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In the top. Yeah.
matrix.
That right. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Hadi, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I really, really enjoyed this discussion, and you're right, because the whole point is to air about practical, ways people are taking the things that we know, right? There are no, we know them. So much information is out there. That is not our problem today, but it's about how do you choose the right ones? How do you cut through all of that in your words, right? Cut through all the noise, choose the ones that are going to matter for you and practically put them into action so you can benefit, your family benefits, your team, and the org ultimately. That's what this is all about. So I
Yeah.
think that on that sense, you were so helpful today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. And I would say for like people who would love to, I try to just deliver my experience that just
Yep.
try to focus on like what problem you're gonna it's cliche. So every single founder gonna say, and I try to deliver my experience, what you're gonna build and what problem is going to resolve.
Yep.
And bring some stories that delivers the energy to
Yes.
you and the moving forward. So even if you are getting burnout, going back to that story gonna deliver. So the story that I told you about the musician somewhere,
Yep.
maybe they don't have the capability, they don't have some the industry hasn't been really successful there. How they gonna get here? And maybe let me add something else to it.
Please.
So if we don't preserve art, if we don't
Mm,
preserve art for other generations, and for example, if I'm the musician working on a very rare genre, and if I cannot get here, maybe I gonna give up. And after 100 years, after 100, no one gonna know that what was that genre. So one of the other thing that I would love to when I'm building something like TunePact is that I would like to preserve art. If
hmm
there are some traditional, some genres somewhere in the world, and they cannot get here because they don't have the tools, they don't have access to label companies. If I can build something that preserve that genre, because that music gonna get some financial benefit on it. So instead of going after those music, gonna go and find some job because
hmm
that person's gonna leave, right? But they
For
know
sure.
they can make money off of their music, or they gonna expand that art, they expand that
Yeah.
music to other generation. So still we can
Yeah.
preserve some unique a music and art to the rest of the world and the for future generation. So that's
Yeah.
another that really, really drive me through what we are building onto.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I have to say, I recently was actually talking to somebody that's also very deep into the power of sound, and I got really educated on this. And we ended and this had a really great realization about how it's one of the unique unifying languages that's available to us as humans, right? Like,
There you go. Yeah.
it's like we don't, like you said, like, the reason why your story with the Nigerian musician is so relatable is because almost doesn't matter that you are in LA, I'm in Canada, and the musician is Nigeria. We can understand each other through the power of music, right? And there's a few things like that. Like it would be, art, just like other forms of art like that. Food, right? Those are ways that connect us that are uniquely human. And this is something that we must hold on to absolutely. And, in the age of the technology and the AI of it all, that can be a tool, a helpful tool. But these are very important human elements that we must fight for and preserve and find ways to amplify, not mute. So I can really appreciate where you're coming from there.
Thank you so much. Again, this sort of conversation can help us to get heard by other people what we are
Yes,
building. Maybe it's gonna give them some sort of signal to build something unique for other industries. Maybe
yes,
I'm coming from a art family,
hmm
poet,
hmm
carpet, rocks, and
yeah,
etc. So I would like to see someone come with some idea for preserve some blueprints of carpets and rugs that getting disappear in the era of the technology,
yeah,
era of some
yeah.
machine things. So
Yeah.
that's another thing that maybe I would like to focus later on.
Perfect. Beautiful. And that's a beautiful story about a technical person fighting for art and humanity of it all. And that let absolutely let that resonate and like hope that exactly somebody else could take this conversation and turn it into their own signal. Thank you so much, Hadi.